Hi there, I'm Tracy Ann Burgess and welcome to the Change Channel. The Change Channel is a place that I've set up to have a conversation, to talk to women about how to move through big life change events. So particularly really huge events, monumental events where your life is just not the same afterwards. So a divorce, relationship breakup, loss of a job, loss of business, loss of your sense of humor, loss of your identity. All of these things throw up really big challenges in your life. And how can you make it work for yourself? How can you move through it and actually create and rebuild a life that might have even been better than the one you had before? So obviously I'm not talking about for people that have lost a partner through illness or through, tragic circumstances. But I am saying that the life that you have post your big event, it can be an opportunity for you to create something really great. So let's think of it like that. Today, what I want to talk about releasing. I want to talk about, okay, so let's sort of go over, my experience was kind of one that kind of extended over a year. I lost my business, my fashion label in Asia, and through circumstances that were actually out of my control. But there was a point, there was a moment, it took about 12 months, but there was a moment where I went, okay, I have to go, everything has changed, I need to change everything. Like right now we need to shift countries, we need to do this big thing. So I think everyone has that moment where they just go, okay. There is a release into acknowledging the reality of your situation. It's like, okay, I'm needing to change this, or this big thing has happened. And that can be a really mind-blowing. You don't forget it in a hurry. That moment when you go, okay, well, really we're not in Kansas anymore. Everything has flipped. So what I want to talk to you about today is about releasing some of those pathways, some of those attachments, some of those pathways that you had attached to that kind of previous life. Now, you can be releasing stories that you had given to yourself with that life, like, oh, okay, I'm living this life now, and this is how I'm going to see it. This is how I see myself in the future with these people, under these circumstances, on this property, with these animals, and and that no longer is going to be the case. So there's a kind of an unplugging from so many different areas and things that you don't think of initially. So some of it is then you can have an opportunity to also release maybe some habits, maybe some ways that you were before that actually weren't even serving you. A key one that comes to mind today is perfectionism. Like if you were a perfectionist in a previous life, you know what, that's actually might not be serving you really well right now. You really might be in free fall, oh my God. And then there's the shame that goes with it, because everybody sees that your life is actually not what you thought it was going to be. And then you've got relationships that are going to change, and you've got habits that may be changing. So you've got like stories and dreams and goals and all that. And then all of a sudden it's like someone's coming along with the big scissors and gone chop through like the ribbons of all of those connections that you had. And it is such a shock. So now is the time I mean, is a time for, I've talked about other things, about setting boundaries and different things before, but now is really a time, and today I'm thinking of compassion, really of compassion. Because when you release some of these things, there can be some real grief attached to it. You know, you had your dreams attached to that, and it's not easy to let go. But I'm saying if you can write down some of the things that you need to release today, and some of those things might be a dream of something. Some of those things may be a physical release that you're needing. Some of those things can be a mindset. Some of those things can be an attitude that you're feeling needs to go. I mean, for me, it's even like, it's more than a declutter, but it is more of a, what can I release today to give me space? To give me space for the woman that I'm becoming, not the woman that I was. Because you are becoming more and more. This is such an amazing time for you to look at this and not just go, oh my God, I was this. You know, like for me, it was like, oh my God, I was a fashion designer, and I was a store owner, and I was, you know, was the sales manager and the production manager, and I produced all of these beautiful clothes, and I helped all these women wear these beautiful clothes, particularly for all their shapes, which is what I created, clothes for women, particularly for women's specific body shapes, and for them to feel good about themselves. And I just went, oh, what about all of my beautiful customers? And so there was all this that I had to say goodbye. I had to go, okay, I'm brave, and I need to do it. I need to release that to create this space for who I'm becoming. So I would encourage you today to write down some of these things. Be gentle with yourself. Some of these things you might even just want to write the name of these things and not even write an action for it. Some of these things are things that you might think of releasing maybe next week, next month. It might even be next year. But if you can name some of these things, and just write down, you know, I release and give freedom to this story, to this goal, because you have other stories. You are making other stories, other goals. You are making other relationships. It's not a goodbye and farewell of everything. Don't think that it's that. It is another stage you are just moving on to. It is going from one life to the next life, you know, and it's really freaking exciting, you know. Thank you, Captain Hindsight, as my son would say. He would say, oh yeah, Mum, yeah, it's always funny in hindsight. Thank you, Captain Hindsight, which, yeah, it's true. But I really encourage you to don't lose faith in yourself. I really encourage you to know that to keep building your self-trust, keep building your self-belief, keep stepping back into yourself, keep asking, what do I need now? What is in alignment for me now to do? Keep writing in your journal. I really encourage everyone to have a journal. Write in the journal first thing in the morning. Don't check your Facebook. Go to your journal first thing in the morning. If you can do a 10-minute meditation, especially in the morning or at any other stage of the day, just 10 minutes, just to quieten, create some space around yourself, to give yourself some quiet time to listen to what your higher self is helping you with, in directing you. And now is a time to be compassionate to yourself. Just being really gentle and kind and compassionate to yourself. That's what really came up in me today to talk to you about. And I'll be back tomorrow to talk. As I've said before, I don't know kind of what I'm going to say. I'm not feeling like being all structured and everything at the moment. I'm talking about what comes up in me in the morning to talk to you about. I've got my Change Maven group that I engage with. We've got community there. I really encourage you to join that, and you can ask me anything that you like, anything at all. And but I'll be back in here tomorrow to talk to you more about how you're rebuilding and how you're stepping more and more into yourself, how you're reinventing your life. And it was lovely to see you today, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.